get to the root of where it started. That goes for an anxious attachment wound. That goes for any wound that you experience inside of a relationship. So what do I mean by this? Usually when it comes to anxious attachment, it stems from the fear of being abandoned. So at some point in your life, you created a story that you are only worthy of love if someone tells you that you're worthy of love. Or maybe in your childhood, your mother or your father, when you spoke of needing love, weren't there to give it to you. So what happens is that you create this story that everyone is going to leave. Or you create the story that the only way that you are worthy of receiving love is if someone tells you that you're good enough. Or if someone does something to show you that you are loved. And so you're operating out of this space where you're constantly thinking that either A, someone is going to leave, or B, the only way that you're worthy of feeling love is if someone stays and tells you that you are loved. Both of these are wounds because they are coming from a place that is not grounded in your worth. So the first thing to do when you're healing a wound is you have to get to the root of where it started for you. Go back into your childhood dynamics, start to do the deep digging, and understand what created the wound. Then you can step into the true healing process, which is taking a look at your nervous system. How did your nervous system respond to the story that you created? And how can you begin to step into healing through somatic practices and through cognitive practices to change the way that you view yourself and change the way that you view yourself through the lens of abandonment? So it's a process, right? It can't happen overnight. I also can't walk you through the process in a 3-minute TikTok video. But no, the first step is to start to get curious around where the anxious attachment wound stems from, and then start to heal your nervous system and your cognitive brain regarding the stories that you've created about what has happened to you. So I highly suggest hiring a trained coach who is trained in doing this type of work, or a therapist, or some sort of mental health practitioner. If you're interested in really diving deep into this work, click the link in my bio, apply to coach with me, and I'll walk you through all of the steps. Know that it cannot be done overnight. Also know that just because you identify with anxious attachment does not mean that identifies you, right? It's a spectrum. So you could swing from anxious to avoidant. The goal is to get to secure and to stay in secure attachment as much as possible. That's what doing the work does.